Why modern life makes you sick, Jung explained it first. You wake up, check your phone, scroll through an endless feed of images and opinions, rush to work, performance, smile, meet expectations, come home exhausted, numb yourself with distractions, sleep, repeat. And somewhere in the quiet, maybe late at night, a question appears, uninvited. Is this it? Carl Jung believed this question isn't a symptom of weakness. It's not a personal failing. It's a sign that something deep within you is starving. Jung believed the modern world, for all its progress, has made us spiritually ill. Not just stressed or overworked, but disconnected from our own souls. He saw anxiety, depression, addiction, burnout, not only as psychological conditions, but as messages from a forgotten part of ourselves. Not problems to be solved, but signals to be heard. Jung didn't live in the digital age. But even in the mid-20th century, he saw what was coming. A world obsessed with image over substance, with doing over being, with success over meaning. And he warned, the greatest danger of our time is the loss of soul. To Jung, the soul is not religious doctrine. It's your inner depth, your symbolic, emotional, intuitive life. The part of you that dreams, grieves, creates, questions, longs. The part that can't be quantified. But the modern world doesn't know what to do with that part. So it ignores it. It gives you noise instead of silence, entertainment instead of reflection, performance instead of authenticity. The result? A civilization of people who appear fine on the outside, but feel empty inside. Jung called this the mass-mindedness of the modern age. The tendency of individuals to trade self-reflection for group conformity, to suppress their uniqueness in order to fit a model, to become well-adjusted to a deeply unwell society. The ego, he said, becomes inflated, overconfident, outward-facing, disconnected from the unconscious. And this disconnect breeds symptoms. You may feel anxious, but Jung would ask, what truth are you avoiding? You may feel depressed, but Jung would wonder, what part of your soul has been silenced? You may feel stuck, but he would say, what inner journey are you refusing to take? To Jung, neurosis wasn't simply dysfunction. It was the soul's attempt to restore balance. The psyche rebels when it's out of alignment. It withdraws energy from the surface life and calls you inward. This is why he so often said, the symptoms contain the cure. Modern life tells you to silence the symptoms, push through, stay productive, numb the feeling. Jung said the opposite. Listen to them. Because behind the anxiety might be a forgotten dream. Behind the depression, a buried self. Behind the restlessness, a calling. But there's a catch. The soul doesn't speak in plain English. It speaks in symbol. That's why Jung placed such importance on dreams, imagination, myth. These are the soul's language. And without that language, we become mute to ourselves. Imagine someone who has achieved everything, career, money, status, but feels inexplicably lost. Jung wouldn't be surprised. He'd say, they've built a life around the ego's desires, but neglected the deeper self. The ego wants stability. The self wants transformation. And the self won't be ignored. When you silence the inner life long enough, it comes back, not as clarity, but as chaos. Sudden rage, existential dread, obsessive behavior, emotional numbness. These aren't random malfunctions. They're the psyche demanding to be taken seriously. But our culture doesn't teach us to go inward. It teaches us to fix, to optimize, to improve. And so we treat the soul like a machine, something to upgrade, not understand. Jung believed this was not only unhealthy, it was dangerous. Because when we forget the symbolic, we fall prey to literalism. We take myths and dreams as nonsense. We reduce the sacred to superstition, and we replace inner truth with external validation. But the unconscious doesn't go away. It just gets louder. It shows up in projections, in obsessions, in patterns we can't break. And Jung would say, "This is the soul knocking. Will you answer?" Answering doesn't mean quitting your job or escaping the world. It means starting a dialogue with your deeper self. It means making room for silence, for solitude, for listening. It means asking not, "What do I want?" but "What wants to emerge through me?" It means respecting symptoms, not as flaws, but as guides. Jung saw this time and again in his patients. Those who healed weren't the ones who eliminated symptoms, but the ones who followed them inward, who faced the shadow, who reclaimed the rejected parts of themselves, who stopped performing and started becoming. He believed the root of so much suffering was alienation from the self, from meaning, from mystery. The cure, then, was not just psychological, but spiritual, not in the religious sense, but in the symbolic, soulful sense. Because a life without meaning becomes unbearable. And the modern world, in stripping life of symbol and depth, has left many floating, smart, capable, and empty. Jung would say, "Return to the depths. The soul is not gone. It is waiting. It waits in your dreams, in your discomfort, in your longings, in the question you keep avoiding." And that's the paradox. The very pain you wish would go away might be the path to the wholeness you crave. So the next time you feel numb, lost or out of place in this modern world, don't just ask, "What's wrong with me?" Ask instead, "What is my soul trying to say beneath all this noise?" Curious minds never stop. Subscribe to keep exploring.